The space race was more than a contest. It was a pivotal moment in human history, a time of unprecedented ambition and technological leaps between the United States and the Soviet Union. It was a global chess match played out in the skies, with each nation vying for dominance. It was a battle to shape the future, to define the boundaries of what humanity could achieve. The stakes were incredibly high. The world watched with bated breath as each side launched satellites, pushing the limits of engineering and scientific understanding. They sent animals into space, brave pioneers who paved the way for human exploration, enduring conditions we could barely imagine. And they meticulously made plans to land a human on the moon, a goal that seemed almost impossible at the time, a testament to human ingenuity. People everywhere felt the excitement, the sense of shared purpose, and the thrill of witnessing history unfold before their very eyes. The news spread like wildfire, as newspapers and televisions buzzed with news of new launches, each one a symbol of progress and a source of national pride. The space race inspired young minds, igniting a passion for science and exploration that would shape generations to come. It made science and technology thrilling, transforming them from academic subjects into captivating adventures with limitless possibilities. Every launch was a leap into the unknown, a daring step into the vast expanse of space, filled with both promise and peril. And every success brought hope for what humans could achieve, a belief that with enough determination and innovation, anything was possible. But behind every rocket and astronaut, behind the spectacle and the headlines, there was another race, a silent competition that was just as crucial to the success of the space program. It was a race to create the brains of the space age, to develop the complex systems that would guide rockets and ensure the safety of astronauts. This race was all about computers and the coding that powered them, the intricate algorithms that made space travel a reality. Without these unseen heroes, the dedicated programmers and engineers working tirelessly behind the scenes, rockets would not fly straight, astronauts could not return safely, and the entire space program would have been grounded. Without their expertise, the moon would remain out of reach, a distant dream instead of a tangible goal. The space race was not just about building machines, about assembling rockets and spacecraft. It was fundamentally about building the knowledge and codes that made them work, the intellectual infrastructure that underpinned the entire endeavor. Back in the 1960s, the world of computers was a vastly different landscape compared to the sleek, powerful devices we use today. The technology was in its infancy, a period of experimentation and groundbreaking innovation. They weren't pocket-sized or even desk-sized. They were huge, room-sized machines dominating entire spaces with their complex systems. These behemoths of technology were a far cry from the personal computers we know and love. These colossal machines were filled with a tangled web of wires and mesmerizing blinking lights, a symphony of electrical activity that indicated the complex calculations taking place within. These early computers weren't intuitive. They needed careful, precise instructions from people, skilled operators, and programmers who understood the language of machines. And this is where coding came in, a crucial bridge between human intention and machine execution. Coding meant giving a computer a meticulously crafted set of instructions to follow, a step-by-step guide for solving complex problems. This was often achieved using punched cards, a tangible form of code. Each card represented a single line of code, a command that the computer would interpret and execute. The process was incredibly sensitive, and a single mistake, a misplaced punch, could stop a whole mission in its tracks. Therefore, programmers had to be exceptionally careful, endlessly patient, and remarkably clever to navigate the intricacies of these early systems. These computers didn't have the convenience of screens or keyboards. Interaction was far more rudimentary. They were designed for efficiency, but also limited, and could only perform one thing at a time, processing tasks sequentially. Yet, even with these seemingly restrictive limits, these early computers were incredibly powerful tools in their own right. They were capable of solving difficult maths problems quickly, performing calculations that would take humans weeks or even months to complete. This capability was invaluable, helping scientists design rockets with precision and plan complex missions to explore the vast expanse of space. Learning to code in this era was a significant challenge, a journey into uncharted territory. There were no online tutorials, no Stack Overflow, or easy-to-follow guides to assist aspiring programmers. Programmers had to be pioneers, inventing new ways to communicate with their machines, forging a new language of interaction. This necessity fostered a new kind of teamwork, a collaborative spirit born from the complexity of the task. It was the start of a powerful partnership, people and computers working together, pushing the boundaries of what was possible to reach the stars and beyond. The space race's true heroes often worked far from the spotlight. Programmers and mathematicians, many of them women and people of color, played a key role in every mission. They wrote the code and solved the equations that made spaceflight possible. Katherine Johnson, for example, calculated the path for John Glenn's orbit around Earth. Her maths had to be perfect. Margaret Hamilton led the team that coded the software for the Apollo missions. Her careful planning and creative thinking helped the astronauts land safely on the moon. Hamilton's code was so reliable it caught mistakes during the Apollo 11 landing and helped save the mission. These unsung heroes broke barriers and showed that anyone, no matter their background, could help code the future. Their stories remind us that great achievements are built on teamwork and the hard work of many people. Apollo 11, a mission etched in history, remains one of humanity's most audacious and celebrated achievements. It captured the imagination of the world and set a new standard for what's possible. In July of 1969, the world held its breath as Neil Armstrong, a name synonymous with courage and exploration, and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the lunar surface, becoming the first humans to walk on the moon. This monumental event was broadcast across the globe, uniting billions in a shared moment of wonder. But getting them there and back was not just a job for astronauts. It was a symphony of effort, a collaboration of brilliant minds, and coders played a huge part, working tirelessly behind the scenes. Their contributions were as vital as the rockets themselves. The Apollo guidance computer, though tiny by today's standards, was a marvel of engineering for its time. It precisely controlled the rocket's trajectory and flawlessly guided the lander to its destination. All of this was possible because of the ingenious code meticulously written by Margaret Hamilton, a pioneer in software engineering, and her dedicated team at MIT. Their work was groundbreaking, pushing the boundaries of what computers could achieve. During the final, nail-biting moments of the landing sequence, the computer, pushed to its limits, sent out alarms, indicating it was overloaded with critical tasks. But instead of succumbing to the pressure and crashing, the computer, thanks to Hamilton's robust code, kept running the most important jobs, prioritizing the safety of the astronauts. This allowed the astronauts to land safely, averting a potential disaster and securing their place in history. Without this smart coding, Apollo 11 might have failed, becoming a tragic footnote instead of a triumphant victory. The mission definitively proved that coding was not just a supporting element, but just as important as the powerful rockets and the volatile fuel that propelled them. Every single line of code, meticulously crafted and rigorously tested, was a crucial step on the extraordinary journey to the moon. Space missions are full of unexpected problems. Sometimes things go wrong that no one could predict. One famous example is the Apollo 13 mission. An explosion in space put the crew's lives in danger. Back on Earth, NASA's coders and engineers worked day and night to find a solution. They rewrote code, changed the flight plan, and used every trick they knew to bring the astronauts home safely. The coders had to be fast and creative, using simulations to test new ideas and sending instructions to the crew. Every calculation had to be right the first time. There was no room for error. Thanks to their hard work, Apollo 13 became a successful failure, and the astronauts survived. These stories show that coding is not just about machines. It's about people working together and never giving up. Coding for space missions required more than just numbers. It also required complex algorithms and commands. Early programmers had to invent new ways to talk to computers and solve problems no one had faced before. They wrote code to guide rockets, control engines, and keep astronauts safe. They designed ways for computers to catch errors and keep running even when things went wrong. Collaboration was key. Programmers worked with engineers, scientists, and astronauts to find solutions. This teamwork helped turn dreams into reality and made space travel possible. Today, these skills are just as important as ever. The creativity of early coders paved the way for all of us to reach for the stars and explore the unknown. The space race changed the world forever. The coders and programmers of the past built the foundation for modern space exploration. Now, coding is everywhere in space missions, from robots on Mars to satellites orbiting distant planets. Each mission relies on code written by teams of dedicated programmers. If you're curious about space or love solving problems, coding could be your path to the stars. The skills that helped land astronauts on the moon are still needed.